Welcome back, everybody. It is going to be an awesome second map coming up to you, served hot on Ascent. I'm here with Sean Gez, I'm DDK, of course, and Immortals and Sentinels. It's a really interesting matchup so far. It does feel like Immortals are really strong, Sean, but there is this X factor to Sentinels, at least on Split, that we saw, which gave a lot of trouble to Immortals.
Yeah, I don't know if we're going to see that on Ascent. We did see Sentinels play a really strong Ascent against 100 Thieves, but very different style, right? I mean, very different style than how Immortals approaches the game. So I don't know if that same style is going to work for Sentinels. What they did in that game was basically told Sick to go fight people. And he won tons of duels all over the map when 100 Thieves was running like slow defaults. He was able to get these engagements on Phoenix. I don't think he'll get those fights against Immortals, but I do think Sentinels will be able to poke and prod around the map in a similar way to what they did on Split. And the more footage that a team like Sentinels has of Immortals, the better off they're going to be. So unless Immortals completely changed their game plan from last time, I still probably have to favor Sentinels here.
Yeah, it's hard not to. Just they have part of the X factor that makes them so good is just the level of awareness that each player has for themselves and the team and the movement on the map and the timings. They always find great timings in chaotic scenarios. And Ascent, it does feel like a map where that shouldn't be as much of a factor. I'm curious to see, as you mentioned, what we're going to get from Shot Up. Are we going to get a breach pick? Are we going to get a comfort pick of maybe a duelist instead? Maybe we're going to see a return of Reyna. But super curious to see what they have. There's definitely going to be some setups to look out for as well that we had previously used against Envy from the Immortals lads, and there's just lots of things that could be in the favor of Immortals if they're able to find their footing. But I think the first question in all of these series at the moment on this patch is just who's able to deal with that kind of death ball, stinger, frenzy madness, because it feels like you got to get over that hump first before you start to really get into a spot where you can start conditioning the other team, where you can start defaulting to get past those the stinger buys.
Yeah, and that's why I feel like a player like Sinatra, he should shine in a meta like this, where he plays a Sova, and on Ascent we're going to get to see him probably on Sova, so he'll be able to spot out these clusters of frenzies, clusters of stingers, because they're going to stick in packs of 3, 4, 5 people. So he'll be able to spot that out early if he has good recons, and then his shock darts should induce a lot of damage on those hits. He's very good at that on-the-fly utility usage, which is part of the reason why he is so good in all the metas, is because he's just playing on the fly based on what he sees, and he knows all the trajectories of the arrows and the map locations of boxes and all of the little nerdy stuff. He's great at it.
Yeah, and I'm looking forward to seeing how that pans out. This is a great Sova map too, and there's a lot of great spots for ulting. Of course, he was, I think, really, Sinatra was obviously, he was the guy that really truly widely popularized just using an Odin and anchoring the B site and so on. And obviously that became something that became, I guess, a little bit expected over time. People learned how to deal with it, but he's definitely someone that loves to throw the shenanigans in, and as you say, really play off his intuition. And with that said, I'm looking forward in this matchup to see what we'll have in terms of setups aggressively and defensively from both teams. Setups to take A main control. How is the dynamic going to work with that? How is the dynamic going to work with retake setups? We do have there's like a 3-man setup we may see from Immortals where they put Killjoy turret in market, have Sova taking A main control, and just trying to play retake, leaving mid and cat open. It's a lot of things that we need to look out for in this matchup.
Yeah, that's the thing, is we don't really even know what style we're going to get from Sentinels. That's part of the beauty of their team, is you see Shazam, he can play breach. Sometimes, most of the time, he plays Jet. Sick, we've seen him on like Raze, Phoenix, Sova. I think we've seen him on. We've seen him on Breach. We've seen him on Sate. Like, there's so many different agents that Sick has played and had success with, and the same thing could be said for Sinatra. We've seen him now on Reyna, Phoenix, Raze, Sova, and it's not just the fact that they can play these agents, but they understand how those agents are successful. And that's part of the reason why I think they're so good at playing on the fly and in little packs of 2 and 3 players. When I watch Sentinels play, is they're very good at just knowing how to use their abilities in the craziest situations, which a lot of people aren't that good at yet because the game is still, very new. It's been only a year now.
Yeah, you're totally right, and that's actually like a really interesting thing about this kind of lockdown situation we have where we don't have lands at the moment too. Because I feel like that even emphasizes even more how we have regional differences in playing the game, and because of Valorant being Valorant, there's so many ways you can approach the game, and it's hard to like know if like what a team is doing in other regions, if it's actually like, is it going to be super viable or not? It's really difficult to tell. Like we look at a lot of these teams in the Asian region, and we know that we have like generally a more developed field of competition over here, but it's hard not to look at some of the setups and strats and be like, I wonder how that would play out over here. So it's kind of cool to see the potential across the world regionally speaking. And that pivots me to a question, Sean. When it comes to Ascent, are there things in the meta right now in Ascent that you think should be changing? Should teams be approaching defense or attack differently? What is your kind of general sense for where the map is at the moment?
Ooh, I think right now it's a lot of pressure on A main, B main fights early round. Some teams choose one and then go back to the other later for map control. They might get one control while getting mid control. Some teams prefer to get both extremities and then go into mid. It's really like a preference thing. And I think Sentinels approach is going to be wider, and Immortals approach on their attack side is going to be more narrow. They might send 3 people A main, 1 guy to hold the B push and 1 guy to hold the mid push, and the 2 guys on mid and B are very passive, but those 3 guys that are together clustered are very aggressive. Sentinels might be aggressive everywhere. Like, that's what I'm envisioning when I see Sentinels. They know how to be aggressive as solos. And that's a very hard thing to teach someone because it's very easy to just get picked in this game. So that's where I think the difference is going to lie in this game. But going back to what you said about the vision strikers, like teams in Korea looking very pretty, it reminds me a lot of very games at the start of CSGO, where everything that they did was beautiful. And as an in-game leader, I would watch them and be like, how are these guys not the best team in the world? It was triggering to me because their strats were gorgeous and I couldn't understand it. But it turns out you can't really play a full style like that. You can't play like this polished style. You have to be ready to take off the gloves. And I think that's something Sentinels does a really good job at early in this game. And part of the reason why I hype them up so much is they have both styles. They have the style where they can take off the gloves and just have Sick and Sinatra just run around the map. But then they also have the buttoned up version where they're just running a clean execute. So I haven't seen both versions out of Immortals, which is why I'm not super hype about them in this matchup. But I think they probably have the better aimers, which always gives them a punching chance.
Yeah, for sure. And especially because if executed well, that death ball style can definitely work. You can definitely force the other team into weird spots where they can get overrun, and it comes down to timings. And there we go. So we see I would say a comfort pick from Shot Up to go with the Reyna as opposed to seeing him on a Breach or a Killjoy or whatever else. And how is that going to change the complexion of the match, do you think, Sean?
I think that'll change the complexion a lot. I really do. I actually think this is a much better pick for the team. It might seem a little odd for people at home, maybe like, oh, you went from a Reyna to a Breach? Like, that couldn't be further off. But when you actually watch how these pro Reyna players play, you can't initiate the same way you could with a Jett, with a Phoenix, with a Raze, with any other agent. Reyna doesn't have that space creation element to her. She just has these 2 flashes that are both near sights, and she's better served at trading the frags that a Jett can create space for. So that's why you always see Reyna's, not always, but most of the time you see Reyna's paired up with Jetts when you watch them. So I think, Shot Up being able to play something like a Breach isn't a bad shout, but he's just not there yet because he's played so much Reyna, and he's a fantastic Reyna player. So him leaning into that is something I like seeing.
Yeah, I think I wanted to see the shenanigans with Breach. I really did. But as you say, it's hard to not go with a comfort pick in a spot like this. Some of those other picks have not really been finding comfort or working with the team just yet. It does feel experimental for them still. But either way, we're about to kick things off here between Sentinels and Immortals. If you are just joining us, Sentinels, here for the lower final, did an amazing job on the first map to crush Immortals, I think it's fair to say. And now Immortals, I feel like the series really begins for them as we see them on this attacking side, looking for an A hit off the bat.
Yeah, right off the bat, we have 9 frenzies in the server. This is going to be utter chaos. Everyone's going to be running into the site. Sova has a ghost to stay in A main, probably. Oh my goodness, just immediately Molly smoked. Guarded from heaven. And this is the problem of putting all your eggs in one basket, Dan. You can see now they have no map control. But again, Sentinels gives it up. We're in a 4-on-4. It's the same thing that happened when they pushed through the B side on split.
It's so interesting. We'll have to go into that decision from Sick a little bit later. Nice tag coming in from Shaz there. Does quite a lot of damage with the Frenzy, even though it is at range. Oh, and he's going to find more. They are just lining up through the choke point. They are serving themselves up on a plate.
Dan, look at the
Sentinels
everyone
are looking... Yeah, they're just... I don't know about that. That's I mean, Immortals, they have to be confident. Looked confident, just didn't work out this time.
Yeah, and that's what I'm worried about when I see a team like Immortals constantly play Sentinels over and over and over. Sentinels understands now how they've lost. They lose to these site hits. So if you have someone like a Sova and a Cypher play the B site and they can get info early, they had 5 people at A before they came out of that smoke. They had all 5 of their players there.
Revealing area.
Can't ask for more than that. That's pretty much, that's it. That's all what you are ever trying to do as a defender is get everyone on the site before it gets hit. See things slow down here. Immortals, of course, didn't even get a spike planted that last round, which is always annoying. As you, especially in this meta, you do want to get that force buy and strengthen it up as much as you can in that second round.
And things are really slowing down now. Let's see, Immortals just trying to feel at the map, look for a pick. Trying to single someone out in middle.
Ooh. There's another spot. You can see, as you say, Sentinels trying not to give it to Immortals here. That will be traded, though. On Tree, 2 players here for Sentinels to try to defend this. The dark cover goes forward. Getting inside the smoke might cause some problems, although Zombs will go down. The trades looking great for shot up. I mean, Reyna and a Stinger, name a more iconic duo. So strong together. And that will be forward ground game. That should be the spike planted on A. Sinatra trying to gain some space here. He has actually almost full util. This is definitely not over just yet. Sentinels, you can see what they can get done here with that Sova utility that Sinatra's holding on to. Dapper takes down shot up. Now life becomes quite difficult for Immortals. Jumping straight into the side here. Gangster doesn't know quite which way to look here, but the trace will come through regardless. Very chaotic stuff, I have to say. When is it not? It will be Immortals holding on by the skin of their teeth.
It really is so chaotic on those second rounds with the Stingers, because you feel like if Sentinels challenges like all over the map at the start of the round, they could easily get run over. But allowing Immortals to group up on Cat, even though Sentinels had the god tier setup, right? 2 players on Cat playing passively inside grass, counter flashing with an Omen blind, counter smoking when the Jet rotates, mauling from the Phoenix, flashing out from the Phoenix. They can still get traded out by these Stingers, and not even from like, solid utility usage. They're just brute forcing their way up Cat. Sentinels could not get away. It's actually kind of crazy to watch it go down like that.
And we're into the Force Buy Wars. Battle of the Force Buys. Once again, things do slow down. You noted this in the previous rounds, and Sentinels were playing it quite tentatively, trying to give space, but they didn't want to concede tree. That was sort of the point of no return for Immortals, but they, of course, managed to breach that successfully. Sentinels trying to find a timing, making the play to A main. It's not going to go their way, unfortunately for them, but Immortals will be quite pleased. Oh, Chemicals in the smoke. That's unfortunate. I like the play there, but You got to hit the shot, and unfortunately for him, Sentinels may have a chance back into this one now.
Ooh.
Dapper. How does he find that? He's just got great timings. Still just poking and prodding, trying to create more attention for his teammates to be able to come through from that door position. And as they make their way through the smoke onto the site, you can see how chaotic once again it becomes. But Immortals with the Stingers back to back, they're going to hold on to things here. And Immortals will be in good shape to stabilize. Finally.
Whew. It seemed like when the Sinatra's recon tags shot up right there, just the bloodthirst on the Sentinels players. They just tunnel vision that player, and Gangsta is just getting a free frag because of it. Close out the round. Now, I don't know, Sentinels refuses to go down easily. They're gonna buy back again with Stingers.
I always forget you can just pretty much always afford a Stinger and still buy the next round anyway. But Shazam with those daggers, it's going to be really interesting to see if he can get an opening. All it takes is one before a push comes in that can just change everything. So Shazam is a huge focus, I think, for us on what he's able to do with that ult, given Sentinel's position in this round, having only to work with Stingers. And you can see how cheeky that spot is, being able to kind of float off of that. I actually don't know what that is. That like some kind of water feature? I'm not sure. He's jumping off up there, but little weird fountain thing.
He's going to be at B for this hit. They'll have 3 players here and a quick cat flank. This could get very, very sketchy right now for Immortals.
And they go. Oh, Shazam is blinded for now. It's Dapper playing with that Stinger from Logs, and they both get kills before the push gets through B main. They are committed, though. They have to try to force their way through. There's no other option at this point, and it's not going to work out. The hold is strong for the Sentinels. And, well, we called it. Shazam needed to get something out of the knives, and the crossfire setup with Logs. It was as simple as that.
Yeah, and that's kind of what I was alluding to before the game started. These Stinger hits where everyone's clustered up, and you saw Sinatra just dump a shock dart right on the feet of that hit. It just immediately put them on the back foot. He probably had a recon that he shot as well that I didn't catch. I mean, those kind of things make the Stinger hits very difficult, but you have to have stacks for all that to work out.
I have the spike.
Get out of my way.
Using that early recon to try to see if there's anything beyond the dark cover in mids. You do need to be careful for any players lurking on the defense, lurking forward in front of that dark cover.
Wow. Again, though, Sinatra shoots his arrow B main. There's a cam B main, and look at how they're cheating towards A. They know Immortals likes doing these sight hits, and they know B main's clear. Sinatra's jump spotting mid. They're going to have 4 people at A for this hit.
Double Hunter's Fury coming through. Again, the chaos resumes once again as they try to breach the side here. Shazam will whiff the shot. He may have to, in fact, he's going to have to hit it. And there you go. Redemption picks up the Phantom. 3 versus 3 here now as the dust starts to settle. Although, as I say that, Sick, he's got that wall. Look how he cuts the site in half. That diagonal wall creating so much space. The plant's being cancelled. They can't afford to try to get it down with all this action. Sick will get taken out, but they still can't plant the spike. And that was the pressure from Sick. That was the move that could still cause problems here. Dapper, though, is going to go down. Shazam, last man standing up from heaven. It's going to be able to take down Gangsta. That's the spike on the ground, and Shazam gets it done with the Phantom. Great spray. And again, Sean, you cannot call it until the last moment. It's just too insane.
Chaz had so much impact, taking 2 down with the op, taking down the Jet with the Blade Storm, taking down shot up on Reyna. Huge finds alone. Picks up, the Phantom, breaks the dart, gets the last 2. That's a huge round from the in-game leader on Sentinels.
He's been so impressive. Actually, the frag distribution is quite amusing on Sentinels right now. 3 players with 1, Shazam with 11. It's awesome to see. I'm having a good time, especially.
He smoked where the arrow is on the left.
That is dirty right there. I love it. Sick is going aggressive. Didn't expect the push on Cat. Because of the pressure there towards mid, he's able to have that space to push down Cat. And now Shazam is going to get his way out of the mid smokes. had the dash available to keep himself safe, and that pressure is going to force the hand of Immortals. They don't have anywhere else to go. And given the positions of Sentinels, they can give up the site. If they have worst case scenario, they can give up the site to have a really strong retake. Oh man, Immortals are stuck in a corner here, Sean. They've got a minute to play. Is there any way to reset out of this?
This is bad news for Immortals because both Cat players heard these guys going towards A, and you can see how Sentinels is postured right now across the map. Sinatra has the B exit covered, but there's also trips and a cam in B just in case. Shaz has top mid from Catwalk, and then they have 3 people holding the A entrance. It's just, this does not seem even remotely close to possible for
30
Immortals.
seconds left.
It's going to be tough for Sean. 2-man setup there. Nice peek. Love to see that. Oh, it just feels impossible to break something like that. And there we go, 4-2. Speaking of stabilizing, it looks like it's actually Sentinels. All off the back of that round, if we cast our minds back a little bit, where it was a stinger buy with Shazam on the Bladestorm. And that's really where the turning point was. And Immortals, you know, you were talking about sort of their more deathball type of style, and Sentinels having it figured out. Really feels like that edge is coming into play here.
Yeah, now with that being said, it will be a lot easier for them on defense, where they can kind of control the fights a little bit and decide when they want to aggro. They can't reinvent their entire attack game plan. Oh dear.
Oh, he's going to try to punish the ult. Sick is right there with Sinatra, though, who's covering the body. And they're going to hold on to B main control and still get a kill out of it. That's actually pretty outrageous there. Sentinels coming away 5 versus 4 on the defense early on. Still time here to reset things for Immortals. And they do have B main control now at the very least. But again, Sean, it doesn't feel like there's a lot on the map to work with for Immortals.
I'm going to say this then. What just happened? So you saw the Omen blind come through on Zom's screen. So Omen saw the blind come through. He can now account for Omen in A main. He also heard Jet smoke Cat. So now he knows Jet's Cat. The guys that push B know 2 are outside B. So right now, Sentinels knows where every player on the map is. They have to hold their positions across the entire map because Immortals has run a very solid default thus far. It's a lot to do here.
Making the move straight into that A site is just looking precarious from our point of view. We can see how heavily fortified this is. That's a stunning shot, though, from Gangster. The timing couldn't be better from Chemicals. Up Cat as well. Now they've got a really solid opportunity to move. Oh, my God. Just in the middle of the sentence, I got to stop short. Sick is changing everything. That double is causing problems, and time is another issue, and they're going to wipe out the remainder of Immortals. It was looking so good.
It was looking great. Chemicals played that catwalk lurk perfectly. Absolutely perfectly. Catching Zoms in the back. I thought the A main hit was super well timed. But again, Sentinel's just all over it. Look at the amount of players here for this hit. I mean, Zoms was Cat. They have Cypher here. They have Phoenix here. Zova's here. The spike's not planted. All 5 Sentinel players are on the site. It just seems like the hits aren't explosive enough.
Yeah. Yeah, it just seems like Sentinels are always just... They just have a little bit too much position. Immortals, to change that, they may have to change their attacking approach entirely. We'll get into that in a moment.
Oh, no.
Oh, yikes. Oh, man, it's a quick ticket right to the next round, courtesy of Sinatra with that Hunter's Fury, and they are not looking like they can get all that much done here. Oh, this is kind of gross. Sentinels making quick work of Immortals. Of course, they didn't fall by, but, you know, speaking of a different look, Sean, as we mentioned, it seems like positionally, Sentinels are always 2 ahead of the game. Is there anything the Immortals can do to mess with that? It feels like their default has to just change entirely, though, to achieve something like that.
Yeah, I don't think Immortals in this stage of their team is capable of probably doing what you want them to do and what I would want them to do. They need to just play a little bit looser and take the gunfights and, you know, do what they're good at. Oh my God.
Come on.
We need to add an NSFW tag to the stream ASAP. This is just, it's so filthy what Sinatra's doing to these players.
Oh my God. Don't even know what you're supposed to say about that. Sinatra, we did mention that earlier. Just he is known for such shenanigans, and there we go. Well, Immortals again starting off on the back foot, perhaps feeling like they've got to make something happen. Normally on the attacking side, when you do go down a player, you don't feel like you want to play picks anymore. You want to play together as a team to take position on the map, so you can get closer to that objective of planting the spike.
Oh my!
Sick though. He's ready for this.
Man. Look at the double trips leading from catwalk for Sick. The cam holding catwalk. I don't know. I just feel like he's going to destroy these players coming up cat. Oh, that recon will help though.
That will help them. The dark cover as well. There you go. They found a way to deal with that Sick setup. And now it's up to Zoms. He's going to go down to. This is a much better crunch coming in from Immortals. A great split through A, main, and catwalk. And they are taking the site. They've got the spike planted. Although we got to be careful here. Sentinels have proven dangerous in every scenario. Shazam looking to get forward positioning. Out comes the Sheriff. Going to find anything though. Immortals will indeed hold things down for a third round, and this half is not done just yet. That was a great round from them.
That was.
It really was.
That was very, very well done. And the 4-on-5 nonetheless. I mean, perfect utility usage. The smoke coming in catwalk, the recon behind it just in case. The spacing was dead on. Chemicals leading the pack as the jet. The Sova supporting in the back, making sure the trade was there, even if Sick did get the kill. Everything was just so well done from Immortals from a 4-on-5 situation.
Yeah, I'm really liking, when we see the recons inside of the smokes in situations like that as well. You're so worried about the smoke getting pushed, and either way, we do actually have Sinatra with that drone that catches one top mid. That allows Shazam to have a bit more info here. He's able to play a bit more aggressively. Sinatra able to punish Chemicals off of the head of the drone. Finding again, Sean, an early pick here for Sentinels. It's just so consistent.
Yeah, they know Shaz is opping around this mid area. So, I mean, on a weird buy like this where nothing's working, they decided to put the round in Chemicals' hands. And they said, we trust you. Go win the jet battle. But what they didn't take into account was a drone coming off catwalk and tagging Chemicals behind a box. And then just, he's just dead. That's very well done from Sentinels. It's something they hadn't done yet in this game. And there's no way for Immortals to be ready for something like that.
And I feel for Immortals, they don't want to sort of repeat what they did from the previous round as well in the same situation. Instead, droning through, trying to catch any trips as well with the low-flying drone. Zappa will be getting blinded. He might go for the repeat, though. He will indeed to trade through, and that's a huge trade to get. 15 seconds to get that spike planted. Zoms at the back of the site. He just has to delay long enough to stop the spike from going down. But shut up, and JC Stanny delivering the goods here. Just enough time for that spike plant. But Shazam is still in the picture here. Operator in hand on the jet. Has the knives to go to if he wants, and there they come. Cloudburst backside, trying to find where are these last two players as he looks for the next shot, and it's going to be shot up to find the damage. Oh, shot up is really... I'm glad he's on the Reyna right now, Sean, because that comfort in these desperate spots, having your comfort agent is so critical for performances, and he's really doing what they need from him, which is to get that one extra kill every time.
Yeah, Dapper gave them the early info, but you could see, Sentinels was positioned so deep on catwalk, they couldn't rotate in time. Immortals did such a good job of pouncing quickly, right? They got all of those trades. I think if one of the trades goes Sentinel's way, it opens up the flank a little bit more for Shazam. Things probably play out differently, but that's not the case. And I think that's, like you said, to do with the Reyna pick.
And it probably feels a bit easier for Sentinels to have more play around middle and more dominance there with the drone, with the operator, because they know that Immortals are a team that are going to be putting more emphasis away from it at the start of the round. So it kind of gives Immortals a lot of Sentinels, I should say, a lot of early presence and threat. And it doesn't really seem like...
Is there a world where Sick doesn't get this frag, Dan?
I don't think
the
so,
drone.
Sean.
Okay, that's the one world. Okay. Oh, he ults!
Oh, no.
What?
Defeated.
Not sure what's going on with that. I don't know what just happened
Well,
there.
this is the world. I guess this is the world.
I'm just flabbergasted by that. I don't know how to explain that one for
I feel like I did it to him. I feel like I did it to him. I'll take the blame.
All right, well, Shazam is looking. Oh, he spots the hair. Shot up though, able to take him down. Okay, Immortals really fighting back here, even though they've had some trouble in the early rounds here in this first half. They're starting to come into their own. Chemicals here, finding that lurk timing with the jet. No, that's so unfortunate. That's a huge kill not to get. That gives Sentinels room to breathe in this situation. It's 15 seconds to get the spike plant. They've got to run back for it. They've got to go for the trades here. 10 seconds to plant the spike.
10 seconds.
Oh, they got to find Dapper. He's at the back at the
What
site.
is happening, Dan?
Can he stop the plant though? Is he going to try to go for it? He's 1v3. They just have to trade him in time. And they're all there. They're all there. I don't even know how to explain what's going on, Sean, because I don't know why the spike was there.
Last round in the half.
Did they all try to run through the spawn smoke with 10 seconds left? What is happening? Why did they not just plant B in a 5-on-3? I'm actually confused.
It's kind of your job, I think, in the cast to explain why this happened. So I'm going to pass this one to you.
I'm so confused right now. They had a perfectly winnable 5-on-3 in the B bomb site where there was just one player there. And Chemicals push spawn, and then it becomes a 4-on-3. And then they try to all run through spawn to A. I'm actually confused.
In my head, that wasn't what was supposed to happen. And then I kind of just double checked. I'm like, wait, I just don't. Yeah, so we'll move on from that for now. You know, we got a 6-5 in favor of Sentinels. Last round of the first half here for SEN. Immortals doing a great job to find their way back into this one. A nice shot from shot up straight away, doing the damage at Catwalk. The trade comes through, leaving Zombs low though. Oh, Chemical! That's what he needed. We've been looking at him with those knives before, and that is the best roll assault we've seen so far. Immortals looking really great, and Gangster. Man, he's eating the same thing that Sinatra eats when he wakes up for breakfast. That was great. Using the Hunter's Fury there to absolutely nail the defense. Not really all that much left for Dapper to do, and that is quite the way to end this first half. I don't think anybody was looking at a 6-6 after the way this one started. We'll have to see if Immortals can actually take this to a third map as we go for a quick break. Welcome back, everybody, to SEN. It's the second half here between Sentinels and Immortals, and I hope you got a quick breather in that break. I know that Sean and I needed it. Sean, that first half was a little bit crazy, but maybe we will be back into something that resembles sanity here in the second half.
8 frenzies in play. Oh, we got a shorty? Oh, no. 8 frenzies. Nope. Sanity's still gone. Let's go.
All right, here it is. It's a good start. All right, so it's the classic making the appearance on the kill feed there to begin with. Sentinels will pick up the orb at least. And they may have to reset. Well, in fact, they have to reset really out of this one. They can slow things down. Dapper gaining some ground here in B main. He's going to walk it all the way.
From Immortals, though. They triple push catwalk immediately after that. Dapper goes 1 for 1 in the B site, but that's tons of info.
Nature here is one as well on sidewalk, and Soms picks up. That's a very unfortunate situation for Nature. Looked like he had the big edge there, but such is the way of things. Chemicals has a great spot behind dark cover though. He might be able to cause a lot of damage here, but yep, there it is. The classic is going to pan out for Chemicals quite nicely this round, and Immortals will pick it up.
They felt him on the other side of that smoke, but they also couldn't wait because the rotate was coming in. So they found themselves in a very tricky in a very tricky spot right there that round, and they were forced to go through the smoke. Now, do they buy back? I feel like as attackers, it favors you to buy stingers back, but on defense, you could argue that it's a little bit harder. Then you have to find out which site to stack. But when you're on attack, you can definitely get like 3-on-1s with the stingers if you buy them. Sentinels opts to save here.
I like it. I like the save. So in a round like this, I'd be curious to see, what exactly Immortals look to do, because as you say, you got these stingers. They would actually be expecting stingers themselves in most cases. In the hands of Sentinels, you have to expect it, honestly. I don't think you could ever risk, playing a setup where you're not expecting stingers to be coming your way. So they've got a very heavy focus around tree here, relying on the Cypher util towards B for that information.
Are they trying to get sick both of the orbs this round? He has been farming orbs so far this game, and it wouldn't surprise me if he went all the way to B and got this orb, as well as the one he got in A. And here we go. He is getting the orb. So Sick has now farmed 3 orbs in 2 rounds, and he will likely have his ult next round. That's pretty insane.
Yeah, looking forward to seeing what setups they run with that. I run it back. The drive-by. There's a lot of CS players watching who I'm sure don't like the look of that. We've got JC standing on the site. He's trying to defend with a stinger. These pistols are quite problematic, but shot up with a lineup. Make quick work of the remainder of Sentinels, and Immortals will actually deal with the eco pretty effectively. But as you say, Sean, Sentinels were playing for those orbs. They managed to find a lot of value.
They did. So Sick gets the extra orb from dying at the end of that round, and then I believe he's now 1 orb away from his ult. He can get that for free over at A right now, and then he'll likely send that in. This is going to be an insanely difficult round to win with 4 stingers and a Spectre. Oh, they're going to go for the B orb. Oh, he's going back for it. And they're gonna send him. Oh dear. Are they gonna molly him out?
Oh, gets caught by the trip. That's unfortunate. Nature close range with a stinger. Manages to find one. It's lightening the load ever so, but we'll have to see how much that's going to help. It is a retake scenario here for Immortals. They'll start things off by clearing some of these post-plant positions with a drone. Okay, they've got info on B main. That's huge. Might want to try to attack all that together. Indeed, they will, taking down 6. So really methodical here so far, leaving only the B site proper in terms of the main defense here. And they are going to be looking quite good, Sentinels. I don't even know how to process what we just saw or didn't see. That was amazing. Immortals looked like they were perfectly set up. Sentinels players were stuck on the site.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely looked like Immortals was going to steal that one away for a second, especially with the drone frag onto Sick. But I guess just having Phantoms at a distance back sight, and then maybe having the wild card and Sinatra play close, it's just so hard to deal with when you have only stingers.
Yeah, definitely. Really well played. by Sentinels holding on to that one, and that will be 7-8. So no B main presence whatsoever here from Sentinels. In fact, just walking up catwalk, and this might be perfect though, because Chemicals, perfect for Immortals, I should say, as Chemicals is holding this with the operator. He gets the kill onto Shazam, able to dash away as well, and he'll escape through the glass. So great start for Immortals. They've spotted what Sentinels are up to. Chasey standing with a whip there. The trades start to follow. Chemicals has a lot of work on his hands to hold on to the site. Right click not doing what he needed it to do. And Sentinels now looking like they could have an edge. They're going to reset the situation. I like this a lot. Falling back into mid. There's the TP onto the B site. Oh, this is a hell of a situation to find yourselves in if you're Immortals. You have no idea where the other players could be on the around the map.
Yeah, but you do have the 2 trips that are still up. So you know no one has lurked through mid. There's
One enemy
oh
remaining.
dear. Dapper has played this so well. Now there is 2 trips again, protecting Nature from the flank. So he knows Dapper isn't pushing behind him. That's why he looks so fearless. He knows he has a one-on-one now.
Oh, that's a great bait there. Dropping the cage. That may cue Dapper to push. But Dapper just is so smart. The way that he's positioning himself, just teasing, making it as safe as possible, and really wasting time here for Nature. Nature, of course, as you can see, is so worried about getting Pete from behind as well. Dapper, without taking a fight, made it impossible for his opponent to win. That's how you play a tactical FPS game.
Oh my goodness. Douglas Apper just Cypher diffed Nature out of the server. That was insane. That was incredible. He tags Shot Up, who's an ulted Reyna on the flank. Yeah, there's no way that Nature expects him in this corner because there's a trip there. Why would there be someone hiding behind that in a 2-on-3, I believe, at that time? Or 2-on-2? No, 2-on-3. And he just played it so well. Like you said, just never committing to fights. Always making Nature feel uncomfortable. And that he was sandwiched.
Revealing area.
So well done. Love to see that kind of play.
Enemy marked.
Fight over a main. Utility exchange. The drone will be tagging one player. That will force Sentinels back a little bit. And retake that position if they want. Pretty big swell of players for Immortals on the defense around Catwalk, as you guys can see on the minimap. 3 players in tree at this point.
And this is the difference. I want to point out the difference. So we had 2 players, Phoenix and Jet, try to take A main. We have Zom solo lurking mid and 2 players by B. This is very different from what we saw from Immortals, who were very heavy towards one side. This was what I was referring to it before the match started. So they had full map control, and you can see because of that, Immortals is forced to guess, and they have 4 people on Catwalk right now. That is a very wrong guess. Like, they have guessed wrong here, and this B player is in a lot of trouble.
Back into mid now. Zoms will be taking down Chemicals, so that aggression there does get caught out because of this quick switch, this quick rotation, and Immortals don't seem quite ready for this. Finding a great timing Sentinels, and they are running it together. The spacing is looking really good. Great shock dart though. That will slow things down, but Sentinels, we talked about that train, that indomitable train moving forward, and once again it comes into play, bulldozing their way onto the A site. That change of pace just really caused a lot of issues here.
It really did, because Sentinels spread out the entire map because they know Immortals like stacking places. And then they regroup. They look like they're going to hit something, but they feel the stack, right? They have to break a camera, and when they break the camera, the Omen smoke comes in. And when the Omen smoke comes in, you can assume that a guy's rotating over. So because of that, they leave B. But when they leave B, Immortals is forced to retreat from their previous stack, and their whole setup is busted. Now Sick has his ult again.
Yep, and there he goes. Pops this straight away into the B side, gets the clear. There is nobody back there though. We know that at least. And Sick will soon find it out for his teammates as he also looks to get some info spawn, sees a couple players before the run it back fades. Now it's all about post-spawn position. And we can see that there is Shazam for Sentinels around B main, but he's closer to mid actually, so he could find a really insane flank timing if Immortals are slow on this retake. It's all about the timings. There are trips set up in mid though. We'll have to see if that's going to impact him at all. Sick there, looking to try to buy time with that flash. Curveball comes through. And there it is. That's what we're talking about. It's Shazam now putting the pressure on from the flank. Doesn't even have to commit heavily. And you can see that Immortals just moved too slow there. They just got so bogged down by utility. And then eventually the flank just makes it into an impossible scenario.
Layers. Layers, Dan. They have so many layers that when you watch them hit sites, they have these timings, like you said, where there's people lurking on the flanks, assuming that what they planned is going to work. Like Sick going up B, getting the orb, popping his ult, he's made space, he's in the site. What does that mean when the bomb goes down? It means multiple people are retaking from spawn. It kind of opens up the flank. Shaz hits that flank timing like you were mentioning, and it's just so difficult to play against.
I like this from Immortals, trying to fight for some control early on. The A main fights with that classic dark cover one way that we see. See that it favors the player who's much further away. Although it does dissipate, and JC Stanley's going to get some damage in, so they're pushing Gelato now. TPing away to safety.
This is crazy because they can account for 3 people in A main. They saw Sova, Jet, and Omen all there. They knew both players that pushed B. So now they retook B main, knowing that there's no way 2 players are going to hold in B main all round. It's like Immortals gave them all of the info, and they made the perfect play with that info this round.
It felt like there was a pretty good opportunity if Shotup could manage to find that dismiss, but he wasn't able to catch that dismiss in time. Oof, that's not a good look for Gangster. Gets taken down, and
Enemy remaining.
Sick on the lurk there into mid. Say, not a good look here at all. In fact, for Immortals, they'll hold once again. Sentinels really outclassing them in a lot of these rounds, and what are Immortals to do? They've got the operator in the hands of chemicals. It really feels like they have to find some way to take an early round advantage. We see some of these early fights for A main control, but it doesn't ever really seem to benefit them because Sentinels just have a faster response.
Yeah, this one will be a hard one too because Sinatra has that ult on deck, Zoms as well. We could see a scenario where Zoms can ult during a Sova ult. So it's super chaotic. It'll shield his sound, and that is going to make things way harder. That said, winning the trade battle back. We're now in a 4-on-3. This could go either way.
Revealing area.
Ooh, Sinatra. I'm not sure if that was a blind ult or if he had any info to try to predict that, but he does find some damage onto Shotup. Shazam, meanwhile, creeping in towards this A bomb site. Oof, can he find his way forward? It doesn't know 100% exactly if there's anybody in the site. Going to close the door here and create a lot of pressure. That the spike, by the way, is in Gelato still. And we've got a flank from Jace. Oh, sorry, that's Soms, in fact. Mixing up my omens. Thought for a second that spike was going to be lost, but Zoms will be able to carry it through to the site. But there's still pressure on B main. This feels very weird if you're Immortals at the moment.
It really does, and it becomes weird because of someone like Shazam, who's an in-game leader that is Jiggle Peek Cat, saw the Cypher peeking back from Garden. And what that tells him is that they're playing retake, and there's probably another person Cat, which is why he walks up holding the left wall, shuts the door, and is very nervous about someone pushing that cage. So well played by Shazam to just steal this A bomb site right out the hands of Immortals and make this into a winnable round.
It's looking so scary right now. Is he standing biding his time before breaking the door? And there's the ult for info. Where is he going to go?
Man,
well, he's going to get taken down.
In A main right now. This is so scary.
The blind comes through. Nature, though, will manage to storm his way right through Zoms. Shazam, though, is announcing his position. Sinatra, straight out from A main before the words can come out of my mouth. Everybody is dead. Sentinels hold. And as you said, Shazam with just such a great timing onto the A side.
There's so much experience that goes into a play like what Shazam's just made. He's not just guessing. When he peeks out A in the midst of all of that stuff that had happened previously at B. His teammates have drawn tons of attention to B. Tons of attention. So when he peeks out A and sees that person jiggle peeking on the stairs catwalk, he knows that person must have someone holding his catwalk. They must have it. And if there's someone holding catwalk, there's probably not anyone A because of what happened previously in the round. It's just such a good read from Shazam.
Joke's over. You're dead.
Once again, we get the run it back from Sig. You've been bombing it, trying to drop the door there. Let's get taken out. I'm not sure if he was able to tap the door in time, but regardless, the push comes through. In fact, it did. And Spike, we planted the chemicals, waiting for the perfect timing. He's got one up drop. There it is, looking over the top of the smoke. Doesn't catch anything, unfortunately for him. Look at all the spam right now. Oof, feels very scary to be on this, just confined to this A site. No post-bomb positioning except one man, and it's Dapper, of course, who's lurking around. Immortals have to be very careful. They've been slowed down for so long. Sinatra, the hell position with that Odin. Very scary presence. There goes Chemicals. Great toss of the knives. And time is of the essence here to get that defuse through, and they managed to get it just in the nick of time. Great push from Immortals. And again, it is so hard, I'm sure, for the players as well, to really make good decisions when there's so much going on these retakes. But Immortals managed to hold on to their lives, still fighting for a chance for a third map in this series.
Chemicals has some really cool, smoke dash plays that I've been noticing on both Split and Ascent. That one, he dashes on top of the sight box. On Split, I saw him come out of B Heaven and onto the new box in the center of the B site by the pillar. It's really cool. I like how he's creating space by dashing into these awkward angles. And it also gives him really good fights. Like that fight with his daggers was fantastic.
Oh, scary
Ooh.
stuff there. That did actually look pretty on.
Yeah.
It's kind of crazy. But it's very good if you're an Immortals fan. Didn't take too much damage as well. We get a recon there into tree. Oh, that's so sick. These recon dart setups for the ult, just unbelievably good. And that's going to be an opening pick. And onto a very critical agent this early on as well. Losing your Omen. I don't know if he used the Paranoia yet, but I can only assume that it hadn't come out just yet.
And Dan, look at that. It made the Cypher pop both cages. And if you look at the trips and the cam, they're not to help him at A. What does that mean? He's going to require tons of rotate. See all 4 players from Immortals at the incorrect bomb site yet again. Sentinels playing them perfectly.
Oh, it's going to be so tough for them to find their way back in here. They don't have any ultimates really either to really help them all that much. They've got Neural Theft. That's really it. Well, Shock Darts to be sent onto the site. Well, actually, I think those actually get some good damage there. Onto Zombs. There's some very low off the back of those 2 Shock Darts. Post-bomb positioning again. Losing your Omen this early on, not having those smokes for B main is problematic. And you can see Sentinels pretty much have all the lines of sight they need. Temporary smoke there dropped to deal with Shazam's position, but Sinatra pops out and so does Dapper, and that's the 13-9. That's the 2-0 in this series. Sentinels will best Immortals in what looked to be another just great display of Valorant gameplay. I never know what to say about Sentinels, except that they just always will find a way to win.
Yeah, in this series, they definitely looked like the better team. Like, I think it looked like they solved whatever Immortals threw at them the first time that they defeated them, and they were ready for all of the hits Immortals had. So I think Immortals just needs to go back to the drawing board. We're going to see the next time these teams play is going to be on a different patch. So it'll be really exciting to see how both the teams adapt, because I think both the teams are going to have to change tons of stuff without being able to use frenzies as much, without being able to stingers as much, and who knows, we might be able to see some new agents in play.
For sure, but before we see anything, Sean, we have an awesome highlight from Caboose on Icebox with some round-winning trigger discipline. Let's check it out.
Oh, dude, I was actually watching this play earlier, and this was so insane. I've never seen anyone hide behind that box. I've only seen people use the corner. So when he used it as a bait setup, oh, it's such a spicy little spot to play on an eco round. What a filthy way to just, you know, knock the hope out of a team. Already up 11-2.
This was very. This is one of those moments when it's such a sick play, but you can't help but just feel your heart sink for Immortals, who are obviously trying so hard. This looked like such a good attempt to get in, and just that one spot overlooked. Oh, that's not a good way to lose a round, man. That one unchecked position.
I've never cleared it. I'll never not clear it again though after watching that clip. I'll clear it every time.
Yeah. All right, man. Let's take a look at the brackets and see how some of the action has panned out here today, and to see what is left for us. I think one thing that I think will be sad for some people. Well, I think there's two major things here for me. XSET obviously have looked so good, and it's just crazy to see how good Sentinels have been playing. So it seemed like they were destined to drop to the Sentinels. Was there anything there in terms of that matchup that was awesome for you?
Ooh, the XSET Sentinels game. I actually really like that game. It's very similar in my eyes to the Immortals team. I think XSET has a ton of potential. Both of those teams. There's so many teams like right behind, a team like Sentinels, where I think the throne is for the taking. The next tournament, with the new patch, I truly feel like we could have an upset event where one of these teams that hasn't won an event should be able to steal it, because they're so close. Gen G is close. Immortals is way close. XSET is getting close. LG is knocking on the door. Like, all these teams in this bracket are insane. We didn't even have TSM here.
Yeah, no, exactly. It's looking extremely competitive. A lot of new looks, and here we can see, of course, the winners bracket. And man, Envy, oh my god, they've looked disgustingly good at this point. It's we always are asking the question as to which Envy's going to turn up. They're packed with skill, great leadership, and they've been smashing it right now. Sean, it's really hard to see Envy falter, but if there is a team to do it, I guess it's Sentinels, right?
Yeah, no, this is going to be a really cool matchup, because I actually think both teams have a similar style. They've embraced the Frenzy Stinger meta, and it seemed like they were really late to do that. They didn't want to do that. They had their styles, and now when I watch them, they have such an aim-heavy style that they didn't have when we first casted them in First Strike. I think this matchup that we have tomorrow is going to be so fun to watch. It's going to be chaotic as hell. And that's on you, man. You're play-by-play, so I'm cool. I'm good.
Yeah, it is kind of tough sometimes, I got to say. Like, Counter-Strike is a much more chill game in that respect, but it's amazing to see. Like, honestly, it's so fun to see what comes out of the chaos in some of these rounds, because you get these great build-ups, these teams defaulting, jockeying for position, trying to find a win on the rotations, a win on the timings. But then, nothing can account for what happens when a player gets that extra kill from a spot that he maybe shouldn't, because he's so good, pops an ult of some kind, then things really start to, the tables change. Like, it's really cool to see. And I think that for a lot of people, we really started to see the potential of this game from a viewer's experience point of view, and how amazing it can be, how engaging it can be with that TSM Sentinels rivalry. So I'm really looking, in lieu of the fact that we don't have TSM here for that Sentinels matchup, but we have Envy, really looking forward to seeing some, the birth of that rivalry, and to really see Envy do some serious damage and show us that they're ready to take the throne here. But with that said, I think, unless you have anything to add here, Sean, I think it's time to close things down for today.
No, I don't think I do. I'm stoked that it's a best of 5 tomorrow. So it's going to be a long
best
one.
of 5.
So it's going to be so sick.
Right, and before we go, of course, thank you, shout out to our sponsors. Every day, billions of people, wake up, eat, and fire up a game as part of their daily routine. Console or PC, casual or pro, no matter your creed, color, or culture, we're all gamers, and HyperX is always ready to game. With that said, we will see you guys tomorrow for some epic gaming with our finals between Sentinels and Envy. You don't want to miss it. We'll see you tomorrow.